You're suffocating. Your lungs are about to explode. Your blood is boiling inside your veins. And you have exactly 15 seconds before permanent brain damage sets in. This isn't a nightmare. This is what happens to an unprotected human body in space. And right now, 3 astronauts are living just 250 miles above your head in conditions that would kill you in under 2 minutes. Let me show you why everything you think you know about surviving in space is completely wrong. In 1971, 3 Soviet cosmonauts died in just 40 seconds during the Soyuz 11 mission. Not from an explosion, not from a fire. A simple valve failure caused decompression, and they were gone before they could even react. Here's the disturbing part that NASA doesn't advertise on their recruitment posters. Space is actively trying to kill you in ways most people never consider. Forget Hollywood movies. When exposed to the vacuum of space, your body doesn't freeze instantly. That's fiction. The real horror is far more scientific and genuinely terrifying. Within 1 second, the water on your tongue begins to boil. Not because space is hot, but because there's zero pressure. At sea level, water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. In space, your body temperature of 98.6 degrees is more than enough. Your saliva boils. The moisture in your eyes boils. Fluid in your soft tissues starts vaporizing. At 15 seconds, you're unconscious. Oxygen stops reaching your brain because there's no air pressure to facilitate the transfer from your lungs to your blood. But here's what medical researchers at NASA confirmed. You wouldn't explode. Your skin is strong enough to keep you intact. Instead, you'd swell to about twice your normal size as the gases in your body expand. Imagine a grotesque balloon version of yourself, floating unconscious in the void. At 90 seconds, you're dead. But astronauts on the International Space Station right now are separated from this fate by a metal wall less than half an inch thick in some sections. One micrometeorite traveling at 17,500 miles per hour, and that protection is gone. In fact, the ISS gets hit by tiny debris regularly. In 2021, a piece of space junk punched a hole in the station's robotic arm. The crew was sleeping just meters away. Now here's where it gets controversial. And this is what space agencies rarely discuss publicly. We don't actually have a reliable rescue plan. If something catastrophic happens on the ISS, the Soyuz spacecraft attached to the station can bring crew members home. But it holds only 3 people. The ISS currently hosts 7 astronauts. Do the math. Who decides who gets a seat? NASA has protocols for this scenario, but they're classified. Think about that. We've sent hundreds of people to space, but we still haven't solved the basic problem of emergency evacuation. The radiation is another silent killer that's drastically underestimated. On Earth, our magnetic field and atmosphere protect us from cosmic rays and solar radiation. On the ISS, astronauts receive radiation exposure equivalent to about 8 chest X-rays every single day. Scott Kelly spent 340 consecutive days in space and returned with permanently altered DNA. His twin brother Mark, who stayed on Earth, did not experience these genetic changes. This isn't speculation. This is documented NASA research published in 2019. But Mars missions are being planned right now for the 2030s. Here's the problem nobody wants to address directly. A round trip to Mars takes about 2 years. Astronauts would be exposed to radiation levels up to 700 times higher than on Earth. Current spacecraft offer virtually no protection against galactic cosmic rays. The cancer risk becomes almost certainty, not possibility. In 2022, the European Space Agency released data showing that a Mars mission crew would exceed their lifetime safe radiation exposure limits before even landing on the planet. Water is another challenge that reveals how hostile space truly is. On the ISS, every single drop is recycled. That means the coffee you drink today was yesterday's sweat, yesterday's urine, yesterday's breath condensation. The system recovers about 93% of all water-based liquids. Astronauts joke that today's coffee is tomorrow's coffee, but it's not really a joke. It's survival. One major failure in the water recovery system, and the crew has maybe 10 days before dehydration becomes critical. Fire in space behaves in ways that defy your instincts. In microgravity, flames form spheres instead of the teardrop shape we see on Earth. They burn cooler and produce more carbon monoxide. In 1997, A fire on the Mir space station lasted about 90 seconds, but filled the station with toxic smoke that took 15 minutes to clear. The crew couldn't evacuate. They had nowhere to go. They just had to fight the fire and hope their air filters could handle the aftermath. What about coming home? Re-entry subjects astronauts to forces 4 times Earth's gravity. Your blood pools, your vision tunnels, and if you're not in peak physical condition, you could lose consciousness or suffer stroke. When Chris Hadfield returned from space, he couldn't walk properly for weeks. His brain had forgotten how to process Earth's gravity for balance. Despite all this, applications to become astronauts have never been higher. NASA's 2020 astronaut class received over 12,000 applications for just 10 positions. We know space is deadly, yet humans keep volunteering to go. Maybe that says something profound about our species. Every person currently in orbit knows they might not come back. They've accepted that risk for the possibility of pushing human limits further than ever before. So here's my question for you. Knowing everything you now know about how quickly and violently space can kill you, would you still go if given the chance? Drop your answer in the comments and make sure to follow for more content that reveals the reality behind the headlines.